Okay, by the way, as you see, we have many students. In my history, this is the largest section, 100. So still many students want to join. So hopefully, I don't know, as you are really, apa, uh, while you can join this section, so hopefully you can do well. Okay, make use of the opportunities. Okay, next, let's go to, okay, today I will go I will go slightly partial part of introduction, chapter 1, and also to introduce the RPP, okay, plan, rancangan pembelajaran dan apa, rancangan pembelajaran lah, okay, lesson plan, okay. So hopefully, okay, by the way, I cannot share this yet because still not signed by the head of department. So I will show you first. While once it have been signed, setelah di tanda tangan, baru saya akan share lah. I will share. Okay, so again, this is section 1. To remember, the code is BFC 32602. Hopefully you can see. Okay, and the name is Mechanical and Electrical System in Building. Okay, for the synopsis, mechanical and electrical system, we call it as M&E, is essential for effective and efficient building operation. This course introduces students to the fundamental of M&E system, scope and impact, fundamental of building physics, ventilation system, fire safety and building transport system, electrical distribution and water supply and discharge system. So basically, while the name of this course is mechanical and electrical system, but we actually, in this phase, we just want to know, okay, introduction of each system. Okay, we will not going deeper into the design phase, but at least we know the function, the type of system that should be installed in the building. So hopefully in this course you will get to know the system and know how they function, and hopefully you can analyze if given some given situation, you will know which from all several types of M&E system, which one is suitable for the building, which the building can be many, office, residential, commercial. So which one is suitable? You need to analyze. Therefore, okay, but before that, for this course, we have 3 main lecturer, which is me, Dr. Muhammad Azwan, and then we have Prof. Dr. Ismail, section 5, TS Dr. Sasitaran for section 3 and 4. Okay, this course is 2 credit. Okay, let's look at the learning outcome. So as I mentioned before, we want to get to know of the system. So after you get to know, we hope that for objective number 1, the student is able to analyze appropriate mechanical and electrical system for building. Okay, some of the information is I provide with the slide, but for slide is not enough. So you should also need to find your own information. Cari maklumat tambahan melalui internet. You can find from internet or Google or journal or books. Okay, so the slide is very limited, but to simplify in these 2 hours of learning, I provide from a slide. Okay, and then CLO1 mostly for quiz, for tests, for assignment. And then we have objective number 2, reproduce. Students should able reproduce schematic diagram. At least you can show draw basic schematic diagram, the flow of the system from one part until the end part, how the system flows, component. Okay, so this one, objective number 2, is you will practice in project. Okay, and then number 3, objective number 3, justify the impact of existing mechanical and electrical system on environment and sustainability practice. So this is in project. So probably the project requires you to propose something, some system. So hopefully your selected system is reduce impact on environment. In the same time, for project COT3, we also want to evaluate your teamwork performance and individual performance, okay, while working in a group. Right, is it okay until now? Boleh tak sekarang? Boleh mendapat apa yang saya nak sampaikan? Kalau ada,
Okay.
okay. Saya cuba gunakan simple English lah. Alright. Okay, so for SS, okay, this one is this slide shows summary for each objective. What is the assessment method, right? So the KPI is 55%. 50 half of the students should achieve 55% marks. Okay, never mind. Okay, let's look into the content. So basically, this section, this course have 6 main chapter. All right, so in this lecture plan, I have distributed to 14 weeks, where 13 weeks for lecture and last final weeks is for project presentation. Hopefully, we can follow this schedule. Okay, so week 1 and week 2 is for chapter 1. So for chapter 1, we will look into just introduction, which includes importance of M&E system in building, the scope of M&E system, and the impact. Okay, next week, week 2, we will look into system integration and management. This is about building management system. Once new technology, how to monitor all the energy system in the building. Okay. Next, chapter 2, also distributed to 2 weeks, week 3 and week 4. So we will look into fundamental of building physics. Okay, this chapter 1 and chapter 2 still not into the M&E system yet, but we need to understand the basic fundamental before we go to the system. All right, chapter 2 is we look into comfort in building, what should be considered. All right, and then basic of heat transfer. So comfort of building, we need to understand so we can provide suitable, when we understand, we can provide suitable system to achieve that comfort. Meanwhile, for heat transfer, when we say about heat, it is about comfortable condition inside the room. So how to make comfort, how to achieve comfort, we can use natural ventilation or we can use air conditioning system. But in case of air conditioning system that we will learn in chapter 3, if the building absorb too much heat, the problem is if we use aircon, we will have very high energy consumption. Therefore, it's better to learn how to make sure the building can reduce heat transfer so the energy load for air conditioner can be reduced. Okay, then at the chapter 2, week 4, we will learn about some energy efficiency strategies for building, which will include relevant application of M&E system. All right. Next, we go to chapter 3. So if you can see here, chapter 3, this is very quite big chapter. So I distribute to 3 weeks. Okay, for week 5, we will cover indoor air quality. So this is about ventilation system. When we say about ventilation, we want to provide good indoor air quality. And then what types of ventilation system? We have 2 types, basically natural ventilation and also mechanical ventilation. Okay, so mechanical ventilation, we will look in week 6. Meanwhile, for last part of chapter 3, we will look into air conditioning system, right? Air conditioner. Okay, next we go to chapter 4. Chapter 4 has 2 main content, which is fire safety and building transportation. So week 8, we will look into fire safety first. What is the available system and what is the condition where to apply specific systems. And then week 9, still chapter 4, we will look into transportation system, which include elevator, escalator, and walk ladders. Okay, next, after complete chapter 4, we will look into chapter 5, electrical distribution. Here I distribute into 2 weeks. Electrical distribution, we will learn into source and distribution, national grid system, and also in here we learn slightly simple circuit. We call it as Ohm's law. I think maybe some of you have learned it during diploma or during high school. senior high school, but we will just revise. This is the calculation. We will learn into the calculation, and then we will look into electrical supply in building in chapter 5, part 2. Last but not least, we have chapter 6, water supply, okay, and discharge system, which cover water supply distribution for residential, low-rise and high-rise building, and special system, and then solar system, solar heater, and then water supply and the concept of water efficiency. Okay, last but not least, hopefully all is going well and we can have a project presentation in the week 14. But if not, I will evaluate your presentation by video. Okay. All right. By the way, if you look into this lecture plan, there are many data, right? Some F2 here, 1 here, and total SLT. Okay, SLT means student learning hours. So for example, week 1, for every lecture, we have 2 hours for 1 week. And then 2 hours, for example, today class is 2 hours, but I hope you will prepare non-face-to-face independent learning. So hopefully maybe end of this week, you can prepare 1 hours to look back what we have learned. Okay, and then this is a lecture, and then this is a student central learning. Means during this class, next week maybe we have a discussion. 1 hour for lecture, 1 hour for discussion, 1 hour for your self-learning. Okay, so when we look through, okay, what is this? Tutorial. So then some of chapter have tutorial and so on. Okay, and then if you look at student independent learning, the larger times that I show here for you for student self-learning means the chapter is important. So you need to, not difficult, but the content, if the content is really important, I suggest you to give more time for learning, your own learning. Okay. Normally, for example, the 3 hours for student learning, normally it has a calculation. So chapter 2 has calculation, chapter 3 has calculation, okay. And chapter 5 have calculation. Okay, this is how you want to evaluate the importance of each chapters. Okay. Next, for assessment, so we have quiz. So I expect to give 2 quiz. So hopefully around quiz is 5% on the early part and second part of the semester. Okay, and then I will average. This month I will average. But if in case previous case, some student we have 2 quiz, but they only 1 quiz they answer, another quiz they don't answer. So still, I have to make it average. For example, 5 plus 0 divided by 2. Assignment, we have 1 assignment, 5 marks. So normally I will give during mid-semester break. Okay, so this is 1 assignment. So test, we have 1 test. But now we need to decide when to do the test. So can you propose a letter? And then I will check with the different section. Okay, then we go to project. Project is 20%. Okay, next final examination, so 50%. So overall, the change is normally start from last semester, we only have 1 test and 20 marks. So make sure you score at least half to make sure you can get better grade at the end of the course. Okay, next about assessment. Is there any question? No, I believe all of you understand. And similar with the previous with other class, right? Okay, next is reference. I put here some books. Okay, two references books that you can achieve in library, UTHM library, And then I also give a specific uh, books or reference for specific topic, for example, air conditioning system, two for air conditioning system, and another one is for water supply. All right, for that is until now. So if there is any, I will update lah. Okay. And last but not least is attendance. So similar with previous with other class, so you are required to attend at least 80%. So in case you cannot attend the class due to some allowable reasons, please inform me one day before. One day before the class. Inform me directly. Okay, don't ask your friend to inform me. So you should inform me directly. Okay. So very straightforward for attendance. So hopefully you can attend this lah. So normally 80%, 20%, it means 20% you cannot come, you can allow to not come, but 20% means maybe 2 times. Okay, but as a procedure, more than normally when you already didn't attend for 2 times, I will give you warning letter for attendance. That is a procedure. Okay. So that is all for the lecture plan. So once I have get the approval signature of the head of department, I will share to you. Okay, all of this. Okay, so today we will go partially into chapter 1. Is it okay? So we have how many slides? 14 slides. Are you ready? Okay, let's take 5. Okay, you to prepare some things. We continue at 2:30 lah. 2:30 we continue into chapter 1. All right. Please stay tuned.
Okay, doctor.
Okay, let's continue to our lecture. So hopefully you are ready and hopefully you can hear me clearly. Okay, maybe around 40 minutes. Okay, chapter 1, introduction. So what we'll cover today is the categories of M&E in building. Okay, and then we will look into impact of each of M&E system into a building. Right, maybe two only, and scope. Right, first of all, as this course name, mechanical and electrical system. So the question is, how it will relate with our civil engineering course? So, maybe some of you will ask, what is the important? Okay, like this. So normally, as a civil engineer, we will lead. Normally in construction site, we will lead the construction. Normally, civil engineer will lead and followed by other engineer. And we also, as a civil engineer, we normally follow architect. So since all the system will be installed to our building that we lead, so it is important if we know a little bit about the system. For example, mechanical system and electrical system that will be installed, because during working we will always work together with the M&E engineer. So to make sure that our constructed building have, for example, in some case, some of M&E parts is require some special treatment in the building or special space. So at least we can, when we understand what will be installed in the building, we know what is the requirement. For example, how large the opening, how large, for example, the rainwater downpipe system. So we will not neglect. Okay, we will always aware what is requirement for their installation. So that is very important things that in real engineering, in real application. Okay, so sekali lagi, bahasa Melayu, kita perlu tahu sistem tersebut supaya kita tahu bangunan yang kita reka bentuk tersebut tidak tertinggal untuk mengambil kira perkara-perkara yang akan diinstall pada bangunan. Okey, contoh, jika ada wiring pada dinding yang memerlukan sistem wiring, ducting wiring inside dalam dinding. So kita kena make sure dinding kita buat tu allocate the ducting, so they can just install and close. And then normally before we construct, we will check the drawing and make sure it tally with M&E system. Alright. So that is important as a civil engineer to know about M&E system. Alright, let's continue to the topic. Firstly, we look into building function. Okay, previously, originally building originally means we look back before the modernization. Maybe before 20th century, maybe. So a building is normally a shelter from rain, from wind, snow, sun, or shelter for harsh condition. So people long time ago need a building just to shelter and then for sleep purpose. Okay, then that is enough. So as long as they have a shelter and after that it works. But nowadays in building system, shelter only is not enough, because now, for example, in residential building, tempat tinggal, house, the residential or house is not only a shelters, but nowadays it can be a place for works. So when we want to use as a working space, we need some other important system. For example, Wi-Fi, internet connection, we need to telecommunication, and then sometimes we found it's very uncomfortable about temperature, then we need a conditioner system. So in this current context for modern building, it is expected to create better, more consistent, more productive environment in which to work and to live. Okay, then thus this required additional system to achieve the desirable condition. Okay, so the desirable condition normally by mechanical and electrical system, it will achieve the target as a modern building. So faham All right. Okay, next we look into categories. So basically we have three main categories which called as mechanical system. Okay, mechanical system number one. So hopefully can you see clearly? Boleh nampak dengan jelas tak? Right.
Boleh.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for respond. Right, number one is mechanical system, number two is electrical system, and number three is building operation system. All right, for mechanical system, it has many sub-component, which is HVAC, which is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Basically, we say as ventilation and air conditioning system. And then we have site utilities such as water supply, storm water drainage, sanitary disposal, and gas supply. Okay, so when you look at this, normally we thought that mechanical system is something that mechanically works, right? Benda perkara yang mechanical, moving, rotation. But in terms of building, mechanical system also consists of water supply, piping system, drainage system. It is under site utilities, which is under mechanical system. Similar with plumbing, water distribution, water treatment, sanitary facilities, all is with piping, plumbing is under mechanical system and under mechanical engineer. And if something happen with the aircon or water supply system, you should not find civil engineer, but you need to find M&E engineer. And then we have fire protection. Fire protection is cover water supply for fire protection, okay, fire and smoke detection, and then automatic sprinkler system and annunciation. So this all related to fire protection components is under mechanical system. And lastly is special system. What is special system? Normally special system is a combination of several system above. They combine together and make a special system. Okay, that is mechanical. And then number two is electrical system. Straightforwardly, all the system require electric. For example, power generation, standby electrical power, lighting, okay, interior, exterior emergency lighting, and also auxiliary or support system such as telephone, signal, data, audio, video, fire, alarm, security. Okay, so if you look here, fire, alarm, and security system is moved from fire protection here to electrical because this system requires some electric and electronic. Okay. Okay, last but not least is a building operation. Means after the building have been complete, people will use the building. So it is in the building is in the phase of operation system. So during building operation, so we need transportation such as elevator, escalator, and walkways. Okay, elevator is what? Elevator is a vertical transportation. Okay, and then escalator is slope mechanical staircase. Walkways normally a flat type, similar like escalator, but it's more on flat type. You can see in the shopping mall and so on, and airport maybe. Okay, next week we have processing. So normally for manufacturing in factory, dekat kilang-kilang segala machinery for processing is put under building operation. And then we have building automations, similar as processing or some automatic system in the building we put into operation. Okay. Lastly, special system, which is combination of both, all of above. So hopefully you know about this. You can distinguish which is a mechanical part, which is electrical part, and which is a building operation parts. Okay, let's look into some building features such as lighting. So we need lighting. We need ventilation for comfortable and space temperature and humidity. We need good air quality to make sure we will not become sick if living in the room for too long. So we need a good air quality. And then convenient power and communication capabilities, high quality sanitation and water supply, and reliable system for the protection of life and property. So this is for buildings fire safety. So the why mechanical or an electrical system is important, because it can make some, it can provide, for example, it will make the building that looks impossible to live in possible. Right? So please look at this picture. So this is a block type building without windows. All right. So no windows, which means no natural lighting, no natural ventilation, and then how to live in this condition. Okay. So but with the existence of modernization technology, so M&E system will help to make sure even though this type of design we can still live. Okay, for example, when we don't have natural lighting, then we can install artificial lighting. Okay, electrical lighting. Although we don't have natural ventilation, we can install mechanical ventilation. Right. So with the installation of this above mentioned system, so it will make the building can be lived and work. Similarly, high-rise building. So long time ago, maybe it is impossible to construct a skyscrapers, menara yang tinggi-tinggi. But because of now the existence of a high-speed elevator and so on, so it's make all the design or the high-rise building is possible to be constructed. All right, okay, because of the advance of technology. Okay, so hopefully it can shows the importance of every system in the building. Okay, next we look into the scope. What scope? Why we need to know the scope? Okay, so this is because M&E system consists of various complex systems as shown in this list, right? So there are many systems. So depend on certain types of building. Okay, types of building means residential or office or commercial or factory. So not all the system is required for each type of building. So depends on the building, we can filter which one is important, which one is not important. So that's why scope of M&E system in building is depend on the living standards. Okay, living standards of the society. Number two, climatic condition, and lastly is occupancy and quality, which is the function of the building itself. All right. So, for example, how to select M&E system for our building? So, firstly, we check the living standard. Okay, living standards means who will owns the building. Siapa yang mempunyai bangunan tersebut? Who will construct the building? For example, building owner lah. So the building owner, if the building owner is very rich and they have many investment money, so they can construct very advanced building. Okay, so they have many money, so they can install as much as possible system in the building. Okay, but if they have a middle income, so only maybe several types of important M&E system only will be installed. I just very simple. Now let's choose simple example. For example, a residential house. So a class of people living in Malaysia. For example, we have a top 20 income, middle income, and low income. So B40, right? So let's see in terms of T20 and M40 income. So if high income people, their house is very big, right? So for example, requirement for elevator system. Okay, by standards, if more than 4 stories, then they can use elevator. But if they are rich, even though they are 2-story house, they can also install elevator system. But for M40, they think that 2-story and to install elevator is too much, so no need. We just only have staircase. So depend. This mean of living standard. So for high income person, maybe they have all their spaces installed with air conditioner, but maybe for low income or middle income, they said maybe only specific, due to the cost, only specific area will be installed with air conditioner system. So that is mean how to scope down the amenity system to be installed in the building based on the living standards. Okay, number two is by climatic condition. Okay, this is based on our climate. For example, we live in hot and humid climate. Every years we have sunny days and we have rainy days. Okay, but we don't have winter. So what we need is, if we feel hot, we need a cooling system, air conditioning system. So we don't need heating. We don't need heater. Okay, that's why the building in based on climate, for example, the building in Malaysia only need cooling system. So we don't need heating system. But if there is a seasonal country or a moderate climate, maybe they need not only cooling but also heating system. Okay, last but not least is occupancy and quality. So this is depend on the, I can say this depend of the type of building lah. So if the building is for residential house, so only related amenity system that can be should be installed for residential house. Okay, for example, residential, we can say resi lah, resi, and then office. Okay, so if in office building, maybe we need more system compared to residential. Okay, so maybe automatic lighting, maybe instead of single air conditioner or wall type, maybe we need a centralized air conditioning system and so on. And then there is maybe a commercial area. So commercial area need different amenity system compared to residential and office, and similar to, for example, manufacturing or factory. So the scope of amenity system to be installed is depend on the occupancy, which is type of building use, right? So you can read further from the bottom example. Right, still okay? I can continue. Alright, sikit lagi Alright, kita akan cover impact. Okay. So when, of course, I said before, amenity system can help to improve building condition, but in terms of impact, it still have positive and negative impact. So what is the normal typical impact that the amenity system gives to the building? Firstly is on the space planning of the building. Number two is architectural design. Number three is construction cost, and lastly, global environment. There, of course, there are many other impacts, but the typical main impact is in these four lah. So if you look at the right side, normally during design and construction, they will focus on space planning first, and then look at the architecture design, and then consider about the cost. And but very rare, maybe still less focus on what the impact to the environment of their installation of amenity system. But if we look to impact to the left side, okay, contribution to let's say environment lah. So we can see that the installation of amenity system need to be considered properly, because if not, it will give major impact to environment. Okay, because what? Because normally amenity system such as air conditioner, water supply, electricity, it require energy. Okay, and it will release carbon footprint, for example. So if not designed or we consider properly, so it will impact the global environment. That's why nowadays you will learn about sustainable building, green building. So they want to optimize the usage of amenity system to make sure to reduce impact to the environment. Okay, so that is the importance of sustainable design and also low energy building or green building. So now people are moving forward to green design. Okay, let's see what actually the impact of space planning. All right, what is space planning? So imagine you have a space, you have a building, you have a space. Okay, if I can draw here plan of the building, we have a piece of space. For example, office space, office. Okay, so how the MLE system impacts space planning? Okay, it will impact gross floor area, footprint, and also height and geometry expression. So in terms of gross floor area and footprint, this means if originally we have a big space of office area, but if we need to install MLE systems such as lift. Okay, so example, we install 2 lifts here. So what actually happened to the floor area? It's been reduced, right? Reduced. So that means impact on space planning. So when you install many system, it will reduce the space. This is only, for example, this is only elevator. But what is if there is a air conditioner room, a machine room? So the more MLE system you install, the more space required and it will affect the space area of the building. Okay, so for example, if design we need 100 people to work, but when all the system installed, we only can fit 60%. So another 40% we need to move to a store level above. We need to add more storage to allocate 100 people, another 40 people, right? And then it will also affect the height of the building. So as you can see here, originally floor to floor level is 4.1 meter, but maybe we have to install some amenity system that require ducting or to be placed on the ceiling or on the floor level underneath the floor. So the actual available space height of the building is maybe only left to 2.8 meter. Okay, so the more system require, for example, in the ceiling, the large area need to be provided, and it can reduce the floor to floor height. But in case of the floor to the floor height is not enough, therefore they need to increase the floor. For example, if using less system, they can make 10th floor only. They can construct only 10th floor. But if many install, maybe if many system, maybe they need to make more level, okay, or more higher. For example, maybe this is 30 feet. They need to go to 40 feet of total building height. Need to increase due to the ducting system. That is impact on the gross floor area and also height to height, floor height, floor height. Okay, so normally architect will decide this lah, and also mechanical engineer. So maybe sometimes they need to do a space program phase to consider the location. So the next slide shows some range of M&E floor required for a building. Okay, how many percent? For example, computer center, the range is from 10% to 30%, depend on the type of occupancy. So for type of occupancy means the size of building. If the small computer center, maybe 10% of the area is for M&E system. But if for big or large computer center, it needs larger percentage of gross floor area for the M&E system. Let's see for office. So office is range 2 to 6%. Meanwhile, for hotel, 4 to 10%. Okay. So the larger the building become, so they require to provide more space to allocate the M&E system. Okay, that is about impact, positive and negative impact on the space planning. And then let's look into architectural design, the outside of the design of the building. So this is also have positive and negative impact. In terms of positive impact, as I mentioned before, it's allow the building to be designed or construct higher. Okay, because we have a lift system. So, for example, 7-story buildings are considered high rise. limit the ability for human to walk up and downstairs. So transportation is needed. So we have elevator system. So addition to that, so with the existence dengan adanya lift elevator, with the existing elevator and new technology, so they can provide construct higher, taller building. Okay, more taller. That is a positive impact. But there is also negative impacts. As discussed before, the higher the building, it will compromise space utilization. Okay, so for example, high increase will make less usable space on the floor, more floor for stairs, elevator, and structural element, and the shaft. So it will impact the building height. So need to consider properly. And then in terms of building design and orientation, so this is impact on architecture. So this means so the building need to be designed to consider with consideration to reduce energy consumption of M&E system, because what if they not optimize the system, so the building will during the operation phase maybe will use much energy. Okay, negative impact. So to make sure their building will have a good energy consumption, so in terms of architectural design, they need to consider they can install energy system such as air conditioner and artificial lighting, but they need to optimize their design to make sure the energy will not waste during operation phase. Example, if the design have, for example, this is cross section of a room. So this is a room, for example, because side elevation. So we have window here, okay, glass window. So we have sun and solar radiation attack the window. So the heat will transfer inside, right? So so they need to, this is design of architect. So how they want to provide, to prevent direct solar radiation, so they need to think how to prevent this, to make sure the air conditioner will not to have high load. So this is meant by to optimize building design and orientation. Okay. Similarly, if the design will create very dark indoor condition, they need to use too much artificial lighting. So how to balance artificial lighting and natural lighting? So this is what the consideration need to be paid, focus on architectural design. Okay, so orientation actually has a specific impact, but I think I will explain in chapter 2, impact of building orientation. Okay, next is okay, this is shows about high-rise building. So as I mentioned before, with the existence of elevator, they can make the high-rise building. And then maybe in the they will consider, so because of M&E system, they need to consider the building shape. So for example, in the bottom here, there are I shapes, L shape, U shape, O shape, and so on. So these shapes actually, this is plan. These shapes normally it has its own benefits. For example, this place, if U shape and L shape, we call it as semi-open space. Okay, so the purpose is to get as many natural lighting as possible. Similarly with this O type, or we call it as a courtyard building. If you ever come to UTHM library, so you can see circular with courtyard inside, right? So the purpose is to get natural lighting at the deeper side of the building, instead of make one block type of building. So they need in the center, they need many artificial lighting. So they make natural ventilation here, a courtyard here to get natural lighting. So partially of the area can use natural lighting inside and outside. but several area need to can be installed with artificial lighting. So that is mean by optimization of lighting by using building design. For example. Okay, next we go to impact on construction costs. The construction cost is very straightforward. So the many is MLE system you install, okay, the many costs, the more cost you have to pay. For example, building height on construction cost. So the taller the buildings, many cost is required. Similarly, MLE system versus construction cost depends on the type of building, standard of living, architecture design, the system selected, it will increase the construction cost. So need to be considered clearly what is important, what is not required, and then the building owner need to consider about this with their consultant. And then so not only for construction phase, but it is also will impact operation phase. Okay, so once we install all the system, we not only pay for the system for installation, but we need to pay cost of operating. For example, any energy consumption, maintenance, repairs and replacement and utilities. Okay, so impact of cost is very straightforward. Okay, last but not least is impact on global environment. So as I mentioned before, MLE system can bring positive impact, but need to be carefully considered to make sure it will not provide or cause negative impact. Because the usage of MLE system, for example, related to energy is normally lighting, artificial lighting, and air conditioning system, right? And then it will, for example, this energy, using energy, it will cause release of emission, and also usage of emission, gas, CO2 gas, and so on. But this is about air pollution, but it also will will affect the quality of water. For example, if the water system did not filter properly before release to the river, so it will impact the water quality. So therefore, all the system installed need to be considered and follow the good specification to make sure the impact is very less to the environment. So if we say about green building, so green building is to make sure less carbon release from the building, from the construction activity and also operation phase. So as you can see here, the target, the normal typical gas for emission or pollution, normally majority is carbon dioxide. So that's why they said to reduce carbon footprint. Okay, because main emission or main pollution gas is carbon dioxide, and this will cause problems such as climate change and also heat heat island effect. So heat island means if the area is too much polluted and they are emitting carbon, so the heat will trap inside the cities. So during the daytime, it will become hot condition. Nighttime also the same because the heat trapped into the city. So in Malaysia, we can see a big city such as Kuala Lumpur, Johor Bahru, Putrajaya. Okay, it's a very hot condition during daytime. So this is because the problems of heat island. So I think that is all for today to cover all the impacts. So to remember the impact of each the impact of MLE system to each parameter lah. Okay. For example, space planning, architectural design, construction cost, and global environment. All right. So until now, is it okay? This is just introduction. So not only okay. All right. Okay, in the end, what I want to summary is, firstly, you need to know the categories, and then basically we will know the scope, right? And then next is the impact, because as I mentioned before, the objective 3, COLO3 of the study is to make sure you can justify the system that environmental friendly. So you need to understand the impact of the system so you can select it carefully. All right, so before I end, I will open for any question, if you have any. So Bashir, no question?
No, Doctor, no. Thank you for being.
Okay, so how about my my delivery, my presentation? You can you understand?
Yeah, I record everything and we repeat it again. I
Okay, so
like
how
it.
about, okay, right, thank you. So how about other student, pelajar-pelajar lain boleh faham English saya? Terabur sangat ke?
Boleh.
Boleh, Doctor.
Okay, no problem. So this lecture, I try to simplify as possible because too much screen time also not good for your eyes. Okay, right. So normally, I try to keep my lecture in 1 hour and then 1 hour for exercise. So today will be no exercise, but next week we have exercise. So if you study by your own, if you have any question, you can ask me in the group, in the WhatsApp group lah, about the topics. Okay, so I will take much time. So hopefully today's class is okay. So let's continue next week, right? For building management system, right? So if there is no other questions, so I will end this class. Okay. Assalamualaikum and good days. All right. For those who still not take the attendance, please put your name, state your name in the chat box. Okay, siapa yang belum ambil attendance, tuliskan nama pada chat box. Yang dah selesai, kita jumpa lagi, boleh left, kita jumpa lagi pada minggu depan. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Doctor.
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 Doctor.
Terima kasih, Doktor.
Terima kasih, Doctor.